Welcome to the studio at That Nerd Show. I'm Marcus Blake, and this is your daily nerd news for Tuesday, January 28th, 2020. Our top story of the day takes us back into the world of Transformers. It looks like that there are two Transformers movies in the works at Paramount Studios. Transformers, the Ip That Never Dies, based on the 1980s toy franchise with the slogan, "More Than Meets the Eye," is being developed again at Paramount with two distinctive projects. One is by murder mystery scribe James Vanderbilt, and the other by John Wick Chapter 3 executive producer and Army of the Dead scribe Joby Harold. The Vanderbilt project, from what we understand, is based on the Transformer spin-off Beast Wars, which are robots that transform into robotic animals like Cheetor, Optimus Primal, which is a gorilla, Rhinox, which, as you guessed, is a rhinoceros. Well, you get it, and more. Vanderbilt has been on the project since April. There's news today that one project is based on the Bumblebee universe. The franchise, including the spin-off Bumblebee, has amassed over $4.8 billion worldwide over 6 titles. However, Bumblebee, which was expected to be the rejuvenation of the blockbuster series, was the lowest grossing installment with only $468 million worldwide during the 2018 year-end holiday season, going up against Aquaman. It's still too early. We don't know who the directors will be or who the cast will be. We don't even know when they're going to be released. But it looks like Paramount isn't done with Transformers. So we have 2 more movies coming out over the next few years. All right, for you horror movie fans, Eli Roth and 3 Black Dot are developing a horror franchise called Clownpocalypse. Excuse me. But yes, it's a horror movie based on clowns. But anyway, 3 Dot and Eli Roth are working on the 360-degree horror project, on this 360-degree project, which will encompass a feature film, a video game, live event, short-form series, and merchandise. And 3 Black Dot will finance. Roth and James Frey have been plotting the project for some time. Philip Gillott from Netflix's Love, Death Plus Robots will write the screenplay. With the storyline under wraps, search for the director is underway with production to begin later this year. The producers on the films are Roth and from 3 Black Dot, James Frey, 3 Black Dot president Reginald Cash, Mitchell Smith, and Zenon Clifton. Eli Roth was quoted as saying, "I've had an amazing time collaborating with James Frey and the incredible team at 3 Black Dot. From concept art to the gameplay, every step of the way, no idea has been too crazy, and they've executed it at the highest level. For years, I've had people tell me, you can't do that in a game. It's too insane. And finally found partners who said, let's take that a step further. It feels like we're making a game, a movie, and a live experience with no parental supervision or studio to tell us to tone it down, and that's the only way to create something spectacular or memorable. This will be a big, fun, scary event for gamers, movie fans, and people who love live events. The Clownpocalypse is coming. Get ready, added Cash. As a studio, we're committed to developing and financing the most innovative content experiences. We are thrilled to continue to work with great visionaries and storytellers such as Eli and Philip in creating immersive worlds that transverse film, games, and live events. Audiences are in for a real surprise. I have no doubt when you're dealing with clowns." But also, in addition to this film, 3 Black Dot is simultaneously developing and financing a video game, which is already far into production and overseen by the firm's head of content innovation, Matt Leibowitz. A live event experience and merchandise are also in development. The intent here is to have audiences engage in the world of Clownpocalypse through the film, a multiplayer console game with an AR-driven mobile component, and live event with supporting online content and merchandise in a complete multi-platform release schedule. So there you have it. Over the next couple of years, look for Clownpocalypse. And we'll definitely be telling you more about that, from not only dealing with seeing the movie or their live event, but also playing the game with our gaming staff. And now we turn our attention to the world of TV and streaming content. It looks like there is an Equalizer reboot starring Queen Latifah with CBS. CBS okayed the pilot order this week. They've given a green light to the Equalizer. It's a reimagining of the classic series with Queen Latifah starring and executive producing. The project, which had a big pilot production commitment and has been considered a shoo-in for pickup, hails from Take-Two creators Andrew Marlowe and Terry Miller. Davis Entertainment, Flavor Unit, Martin Chase Productions, Universal Television, and CBS TV Studios. The pilot season has 3 different networks: Echo at NBC, Rebel starring Katie Sagal at ABC, and The Equalizer at CBS. These are the top pilots that have been ordered and look like we'll be going shoo-ins for a series. So a little bit more about Equalizer. It's written by Marlowe and Miller, who will serve as the showrunners. The Equalizer, again, will star Queen Latifah as the enigmatic figure who uses her extensive skills to help those with nowhere else to turn. It's a new take on the character played by Edward Woodard on the original series back in the 90s, from 1985 to 1989. There was also 2 movies that came out over the last few years starring Denzel Washington. But anyway, Marlowe is creator of ABC's long-running hit Castle, and Miller executive produced alongside John Davis and John Fox of Davis Entertainment, Deborah Martin Chase of Martin Chase Productions, and of course Richard Lunham co-created the original Equalizer's TV series. So as well as Queen Latifah and Shakim Compera of Flavor Unit, Universal TV produces in association with CBS TV Studios. Like I said, this is a reimagining of the original series from 1985 to 89. And just for a little bit of a pop culture reference, it also had William Sabaka, who we all know is Johnny from The Karate Kid and the new series on YouTube, Cobra Kai. He played the son of the title character, Robert McCall. So, anyway, look for that over the next year or so. We'll definitely check it out and see if this reimagining holds true to the original and which one is better. Here at That Nerd Show, we're very particular about reboots and reimaginings. Like, for instance, we pretty much think the reimagining of Magnum P.I. sucks, and the only true Magnum P.I. TV show should be the one with Tom Selleck. That's just an opinion around here. All right, in other TV news, it looks like we are getting a True Detective reunion of sorts with FX. Matthew McConaughey will be starring in a project by Nick Palazzo, who created True Detective. They teamed together for the first season of True Detective on HBO with, of course, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey as the 2 main characters. But anyway, they're moving forward with this overall deal from HBO to Disney's cable and streaming-focused studio Fox 21 and FX Productions. Under the new pact, Pizzolatto will create and develop new projects for the studio's various platforms as well as outside platforms. The creator already has his first project lined up as part of the deal, and he's reuniting with the familiar face Matthew McConaughey to star in a drama series called Redeemer. It's inspired by Patrick Coleman's novel The Churchgoer. The project has landed FX with a sizable script-to-series commitment from John Landgraf-led Basic Cable Network. As part of the pact, McConaughey has also signed a first-look TV deal with FX. They were quoted as saying, "We're thrilled to begin our creative partnership with Nick and Matthew McConaughey on Redeemer, who are back together for the first time since the first season of HBO's True Detective. We're also incredibly excited about our overall deal with Nick and look forward to developing new projects with him and our partners for Fox 21 television studios. And we're equally excited to be developing projects with Matthew McConaughey in his first look deal with FXP. Redeemer is about a former minister turned dissolute security guard whose search for a missing woman in Texas leads him through a corruption and criminal conspiracy as his past and present impact and intertwine around the mystery of escalating violence and deceit. Pizzolatto and McConaughey will both executive produce the drama, which will be produced by Burt Sacklak's Fox 21 and Landgraf's FX Productions. And as for the script to series order, put it simply, it means that Pizzolatto's script comes in well. FX will bypass the traditional pilot order and go straight to series on the project. We don't have a timetable on when this will be coming out, but it looks like we can look for it in the next year or so. So there you have it. Matthew McConaughey and Nick Pizzolatto will be teaming up again in what looks like a thrilling dramatic series on FX. For those of you that are not familiar with FX, they always have great programs, from Sons of Anarchy to Justified to Terriers, which didn't last very long. But they've always had really groundbreaking and incredible series. It was also what made the series, it was also the network for The Shield, which became an early 2000s hit for its gritty nature. In other TV news, it looks like there is a Saved by the Bell reboot of sorts coming to the network Peacock, or a streaming service that's attached with NBC. It was announced this week that they are rounding out their lead cast for this upcoming reboot. Now, to give you a little inside information, it will not necessarily focus on the original cast so much as it will focus on their children and what the original cast is doing present day, along with their children and going to high school. So, here's who has been cast. They are adding Hasikiri Velasquez from The Birch, Mitchell Hoog from Harriet, Alicia Pascual Pena from Chase, and Belmont Camille from Empire. They also joined the announced original series cast members Elizabeth Berkley, Mario Lopez, and Mark Paul Gosselaar, who are returning for this reboot, along with new leads Josie Toda and Dexter Darden. In the new Saved by the Bell, California Governor Zach Morris, that's right, he is now the governor, gets into hot water for closing too many low-income schools and proposes they send affected students to the highest performing schools in the state, including Bayside High. The influx of new students gives the overprivileged Bayside kids a much-needed dose of reality. Velasquez plays Daisy, a smart, ambitious sophomore who is excited at the prospect of attending Bayside High after her local school gets shut down. Who will play Mac Morris, the handsome, charming, privileged son of Governor Zach Morris. And Pascual Pena will play Aisha, Daisy's fun-loving but ultra-competitive best friend. She grew up playing on boys' sports team and causes a stir when she tries to play football at Bayside. Camille plays Jamie Spano, captain of the Bayside football team and Jessidy's sensitive man-child son. The original Saved by the Bell ran on NBC for 4 seasons, from 1989 to 92. It starred Gosselaar as Zach Morris, the fulcrum of the group, that included AC, Jesse Spano, Kelly Kapowski, Screech, and Lisa Turtle. And of course Dennis Haskins as the principal building. Of course, there was a spin-off, Saved by the Bell, The College Years, which ran 1 season from 1993 to 94. So if you're a fan of Saved by the Bell, look out for the reboot, where the original cast are all grown up now. Zach Morris is a governor, and we have their children in high school dealing with modern-day problems. So it should be interesting. And that is what's going on in movie and TV news for today. Now we turn our attention to gaming news. We've got a couple of interesting gaming items for you. So, surprise! Thronebreaker The Witcher Tales is now available on the Switch. So for you fans of the Nintendo Switch, you can play Thronebreaker The Witcher Tales. It's a surprise release. There wasn't really anything announced behind it, but there you have it. We're telling you all about it now. The re-release has dropped onto Nintendo's eShop for $19.99. With the CD Projekt Red's UK head of communication confirming the new release on Twitter, the card role-playing game that's based on the Witcher Gwent card minigame series sees you take control of Maeve, the Queen of Lyria, and Rivia, as you have to make tough choices that will have unforeseen consequences. Basically, despite the isometric perspective, lack of Geralt, and the card game, this is still very much a Witcher game. You can check out the new trailer on YouTube. But anyway, it's gotten some interesting reviews, and it looks like that it's a great companion piece for those who like the Witcher series. So, also you can check out the new Witcher series on Netflix starring Henry Cavill. And it's leaving everybody wondering, does that mean that the Witcher 4 video game is in the works? Once we have that confirmed, we'll let you know. And in other gaming news, we want to announce the free games that will come with Xbox Gold here in the month of February. That we've got some good ones. The first one is TT Isle of Man. It's available from February 1st to the 29th. It's one of the most challenging and dangerous courses in all of international motorcycle racing. It gets its proper due in this game. You'll tear around the corners of the 37.73 mile course, with every bend and straightaway recreated in existing detail from the real-life Snæfell mountain course. The game also includes several other motor race events, such as the fictionalized locations, but the Isle of Man TT mountain course is the true centerpiece for the virtual speed demons. Cal of Siluhu, if I'm pronouncing that correct. My apologies if I'm not. Another of Xbox One game will be available from February 16th to March 15th. The Call of Cthulhu is a first-person RGB of exploration, investigation, and a twisted world where the less you know, the better you are. It follows a private detective as he attempts to discover the reasons for the death of a wealthy family, uncovering occult secrets as his work takes him deeper and deeper into the scorched estate. The game is based on the venerable tabletop game series of the same name, so you can expect plenty of twists that toy with your character's perception and grip of reality. If you've never had a chance to play this game, you will next month. We have a couple of Xbox 360 games that have been ported over to the Xbox One and will be available on Xbox Gold. The first one is Fable Heroes, which will be available February 1st to the 15th. This is a 4-player co-op brawler, gives a hack-and-slash beat-em-up spin to the world of Fable. It also has odd little dolls for its main characters and gives you items that you can use in Fable. The Journey, that is on the Rails Fable game. It's an odd little piece of Fable history, but it should be fun for some family co-op while you're waiting for the news on Fable 4. Yes, there's been plenty of rumors circulating that we might get a Fable 4. So, and again, we'll definitely let you know if that ever gets confirmed. This is probably the hidden gem or the ultimate prize of the free games on Xbox Gold, but Star Wars Battlefront from 2005 will be available February 16th through the 29th. This is the original Star Wars Battlefront game. It had a simple premise. What if Battlefield, but Star Wars? And of course, it did very well, with maps and combatants pulled from the original prequel trilogies. Of course, not from the Revenge of the Sith, because the game came out before the movie. But Star Wars Battlefront 2 would follow a year later and cinch the status of the eternal fan favorite, and the new shooter series of the same name would follow a decade later with eye-watching authenticity to the film's aesthetic, but quality. But it all started with this original Star Wars Battlefront game, and it was a hit way back when. So, if you're looking to go back and replay this classic game, and you want to be able to play it on your Xbox One now, well, you will have a chance next month. So we got some great games coming out on that will be free on Xbox Gold. Check those out. And that is what's going on in the world of film, TV, and gaming news. And now for your question of the day. Do we need a sequel to Star Wars Rebels? It's been rumored for a little bit now, or at least the last couple of months, that we might be getting a sequel to the popular Star Wars series created by Dave Filoni, Star Wars Rebels. Even he hinted that there might be a sequel in the works at Disney Plus on Twitter not too long ago. Now, while we don't report rumors as actual news. They're always fun to talk about when it comes to our question of the day. And since this is out there on the net, we feel like this should be addressed at That Nerd Show. So do we need a sequel to Star Wars Rebels? We would love to hear your opinions. And you can always tweet us out at That Nerd Show. But here's my take on it. Yes, we definitely do. If we can do one more season of the Clone Wars, a final season to kind of round out the Clone Wars, then I think we can at least do one more season of Star Wars Rebels. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, like where is Ezra Bridger and Ahsoka? What happened to them? Apparently they went into the netherworld of the Force, and we never truly found out if she survived her duel with Darth Vader at the end of season 2. That's a bit of a spoiler if you haven't watched the series, but we just feel like there's too many unanswered questions from Star Wars Rebels, as great as the series was. And of course, how do they relate to the original trilogy, or even the new trilogy by Disney 30 years later? We do hear the voices of Ezra and Ahsoka with Rey, as she's hearing the voices of all the great Jedi before her, before she takes on the Emperor. So I'm assuming we're left to assume that after 30 years they are dead. But what happened? Did they ever meet Luke Skywalker? Did he seek them out? Did they go into the outer worlds? Beyond the regular Star Wars galaxy? It was a great end to the series. And of course, we are left, a little surprised that, maybe Ahsoka did survive and she goes off with the Mandalorian character from the series. And my apologies for not remembering her name. But at the same time, the big question is about Ezra Bridger. He trained to become a Jedi. He was a new Jedi before Luke Skywalker. What really happened to him? And I think these are questions that should be answered. Disney Plus has been so popular over the last few months, especially with the Mandalorian series, and we're all very much looking forward to the new the new season of Star Wars Clone Wars. So why not? Why not revisit this? Let's see what these characters are up to. Let's see what happened to them beyond and how they connect to the original trilogy and, of course, the new Star Wars trilogy. How do they connect to the legacy characters? It's one thing to create new characters that connect to our legacy characters, in a video game, as in with the campaign in Star Wars Battlefront 2 by EA that came out 2 years ago. And it was great. But, and it's okay to delve into more stories about after Return of the Jedi through, a trilogy of books or the comics. But we still don't, there's still a lot we don't know in this 30-year period between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, or these other characters that we've introduced. So I say yes, if you're going to do it, let's do it. Okay? Disney Plus is the perfect home for it. Give us 1 or 2 more seasons, bring these characters back. Let's find out what truly happened to them and finally finalize their stories within Star Wars. We would love to hear from you. And again, you can tweet us out at That Nerd Show on Twitter. But until the next time, I'm Marcus Blake. This has been your Daily Nerd News. Goodbye.